Well, moving now to our big debate tonight, and that's really a debate on a topic which is sad. A new survey shows that not one of India's universities has made it to the top 200 in the world. No surprise, say many of our leading academics. We ask, a wake-up call now needed?
Eminent Indians counted among the world's best, but their illustrious alma mater has failed to make the cut for the second year in a row. The bad news: IITs and IIMs, the cream of India, have not made it to the Quacquarelli-Symonds or QS World's top 200 universities. IIT Bombay was ranked 187 in 2010, but dropped to 225 last year. This year, it's down to 227. IIT Delhi and IIT Kanpur have improved since 2011, but they still come at 212 and 278. But Asian rival China has 7 institutes in the list. And even in the Asia rankings, India has just 11 institutes. QS analysts say that India is once again underperforming and blame lack of quality research and internationalization. But the good news, IITs still rank among the top 50 engineering institutes, and Delhi University stays in the top 20, offering English literature and linguistics. Among the world's top 10, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is first, followed by Cambridge, Harvard, University College London, Oxford, Imperial College London, Yale, Chicago University, Princeton, and California Institute of Technology. Ranked way below universities, even Finland, Belgium, Brazil, and Mexico, India has reasons to worry. Academic reputation accounts for a lion's share, 40% of the grade. 48,000 academicians have identified universities producing the best research in their field of expertise. The other indicators are employer reputation, which accounts for 10%, faculty-student ratio, which accounts for 20%, citations per faculty, which also accounts for 20%, and international faculty and students, which accounts for 10%.
One of the 2 major criteria for the survey is how many people or of foreign origin are in the faculty of the universities. So foreign faculty is a very important criteria. And another criteria which is very important is foreign students. On both these counts, score 1.2 out of 100 or 1.4 out of 100 or 1.8 out of 100.
After Indian schools ranked 73rd among 74 countries in the OECD International Students Assessment, the university scorecard drives home, once again, the need for a complete overhaul. Bureau Report, NDTV.
So what's the answer? Is there a magic wand formula? We know that the many education reform bills are currently stuck in Parliament. Who knows when Parliament will actually function again? But is the answer actually liberating our institutions, our universities from government? And what happens to the large number of students who rely on government subsidies to actually get into these colleges? Many questions here. And joining me to debate some of these is Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director of IIT Madras, also an alumnus from there. I'm also joined by Professor Najib Jung, Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia University. I'm also joined by Dr. Pramod Sinha. He's the founding Dean of the Indian School of Business, currently founder of the Young India Fellowship, and Mohandas Pai, who's made the transition from corporate India to Manipal University. Thank you all very much for joining me tonight. Dr. Ramamurthy, over to you first, because of course IITs are a global brand that India is always proud of. So it hurts when we know that not even one IIT is in the top 200. That has happened for the last 2 years as well. Only IIT Bombay had made it to the top 200. That's gone as well. What would you say, sir, about that?
Thank you, Sonia, for having me on the show. The first thing is, I think, as far as the IITs are concerned, I believe we should look primarily at the engineering and technology ranking. The overall ranking involves engineering, technology, natural sciences, the humanities. I think we are, the bulk of the IIT faculty students is all focused on engineering and technology. If you look at the engineering and technology ranking, most of the IITs are in the between. IIT Bombay is at the highest, I think around 50 or so, and then everybody falls between 50 and 70 or 75. And in the Asian category, in engineering and technology, all the IITs come between 10 and 20. I'm not saying this is fantastic, but I'm just saying first let's look at the right numbers.
Okay.
The other numbers will fluctuate very wildly, because really I don't think if we are measured on as a general university involving engineering, technology, natural sciences and everything except law and medicine, I don't think we will stand much of a chance.
Though MIT is of course topped, sir. MIT has topped the world rankings.
Yeah, but MIT does have everything. MIT has a very large economics department. They get Nobel Prizes in economics. They have very large department in the sciences. We do have sciences in IIT, but it's much smaller. And so I think MIT, though it calls itself an Institute of Technology, it's really except that they may not have medicine and law, but they are a university in every other sense of the word.
Yes.
And this is another thing, if you want to look at the overall university ranking, it will be an interesting exercise to get one of these rating agencies to say, take the combination of IIT Delhi, Delhi University and AIMS and just see what happens. I'm not saying we'll rate very high, but you'll get a better idea, because we really don't have universities in India in the mold of the typical American university, many of which have both medical school and law school as well, but many don't. But except for medical and law, they have almost everything else with fairly strong representation.
So
whereas in India, if you go to Delhi University, then,
So you're saying perhaps a reassessment of how the survey looks peculiar to the Indian model. But let me go across to Mohandas Pai, who of course is also an IIT alumnus. But we've seen the focus, and really some would say the severely critical focus which has come from ministers, from people like yourselves who when you're heading HR at Infosys, pointing to the fact that an overall problem, not just of IITs, is that the quality of students in India graduating from universities, from academic institutions is dropping rapidly. A recent McKinsey report said only 15% are actually employable. Does this survey remind us of what's actually going wrong beyond the numbers and the parameters, etc., etc.?
Sonia, our education system has expanded rapidly over the last many years. Today we have about maybe 18 to 19 million students who are studying in our colleges and universities. But the fact remains, what you see today in global ranking is a testimony to the failure of education policy in India. Our universities are not autonomous. They lack financial autonomy and financial resources. They lack adequate number of faculty. They're not able to hire. They lack the necessary resources for the laboratories. They're inadequately funded. The state universities are a disaster. The central universities are better. The private universities are good in parts, but most of them belong to the political class or to others who know how to manipulate policy just to buy a university license. So if you look at what policy has done to this country, you can't blame students. You have to blame the policy. And today, for example, we have a very wonderful minister, HRD, but he's not spending all his time on HRD. He's bogged down. And the minister before him was an invalid for much of his term. So the government does not give the recognition and due that HRD is required, and you have all this. 60 years after freedom, we are a third-rate country when it comes to the education sector globally, because we are not focusing on education, we do not focus on research, we do not focus on faculty development, we do not focus on labs, and you have this. So let's not blame the students, we have to blame policy. We need a much more open system.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.